Episode Nagi is probably the greatest amount of wasted potential in the entire series. Do you know how much cool extra content we could have had in Episode Nagi if the series just continued in the spinoff? You're telling me we're going to be getting a spinoff manga going through Nagi's conviction as a striker and ego for himself, as well as his thoughts on his relationship with Rail, and then we're just gonna cut it off before we get those moments of them being reunited and having that connection again? Not even counting that. This is all of the things we could have gotten if episode Nagi continued. First off, we could have gotten the perspective of Nagi from the Japan U20 game, and potentially we could have gotten the reveal of Sai having Metavision. In the World 5 game, we got to see Cavazos have Metavision. If we see Nagi looking at Sai, maybe we'd get to see the confirmation of that then. We also could have gotten Nagi's thoughts about his jumping turn trap shot in the Japan U20 game, since this is the technique that he was training in the final chapter of episode Nagi. What are his thoughts that he's putting this into practicality, and it worked? Or what about his thoughts on Aiku? He's the first, big defender in the series. What are Nagi's thoughts on that? But also, what about Rain being in Destroyer mode? What does Nagi think about this? He's never seen anything like it, and it'd be interesting to get his thoughts on the matter, and maybe some small extra cuts of Sai versus Rain. The Japan U20 game could be a total of, 2 months? So 2 chapters at most? We don't need a huge thing, but come on. There's so much we could have gotten from this game from a different perspective, and additional information to clarify some things, like, again, Sai having Metavision. It'd be great. Also, more Neo Egoist League matches. We saw Mannheim versus Bastion München and Mannheim versus FC Barcia. I want to see Mannheim versus Ubers and Mannheim versus PXG. We only saw little bits of it. Come on, give us something more. We already know the events of Mannheim versus Barcia, so that could just take up 1 chapter, a full chapter at most, not even. But show Nagi getting locked off in the spin-off manga as well, because then you can dedicate all of these Nagi chapters from the main story and side B for the spin-off. These are things we could have in the spin-off manga. That way it doesn't take away from the main story, and the main story can focus on the U20 World Cup instead of cutting back and forth between these 2 big events in the story. Give it to the spinoff. I mean, the spinoff is following Nagi throughout Blue Lock. He's back at Blue Lock. Let's keep it going, you know? And then you can end the spinoff manga like this, like you did in chapter 36 with Nagi rushing out onto the field, and then have the main story have that chapter end when they link up to Nagi rushing out onto the field. It's a full circle. It brings everything together at once. It's a great option. I'll die on this hill. Episode Nagi is some of the most wasted potential in all of any manga in terms of a spinoff.